what I'm saying. Like, I love that about you guys because we will hype each other up, baby. Like, we not leaving the house not right. When we together, we gonna be like, we gonna do this. Because I be telling Bella, I'd be like, you too fine to leave the house with that bonnet on. Oh yeah, stand up, sis. The body is bodying.
Right.
Yeah. Praise God.
Girl, I'm gonna keep it there. We got
Period.
some champagne on over here, okay?
Period. The body is bodying, sis. Yeah. Woo! Yes, honey. Oh yes. The body. It's snatched.
It's gonna get edited out, but thank you.
No, you don't even leave that. D would lose himself if you left that in. He's like, you trying to dance for a man.
Right? Oh my God, I wouldn't be on the podcast anymore.
With your fast self. With your fast
being all fast.
So Alicia and Bella, which one of you guys want to answer that question?
Mine would be really quick. I believe it's very important, and it's also something that I'm learning. Anybody that knows me knows that I've been through a lot, and sometimes, even though when I'm not physically going through something, like if there's not a specific thing, I'm always going back over stuff in my head, almost kind of not punishing myself, but I have a hard time. And the thing with me is I clam up, I get in my shell. Nobody is see or hear from me for weeks. I mean,
Honey,
Corenna will call me and be like, okay, am I going to have to come down there? Because I will not leave my house. I will have delivery put in, deliver my orders. I'll do whatever, just to avoid people. And so I'm learning now. Of course, I'm coming out of that. And I always, I have Corenna and even Monica. Sorry, Kyrie, edit that. One time, I don't really talk as often, but I just remember one time I was just really going through, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna call Corenna in a minute. I knew she was going to go pick up her kids, and then, mine was getting off the bus too. So I'm like, I'll call her later on. And I just was really feeling just down in the dumps or whatever. And just out of nowhere, Kyrie sends me this message. And she's like, if you ever need a reminder that you're loved and blah, 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 let us know. And we love you and we're here to support you and blah, blah, blah. And it was what I needed at that moment. I called Corenna. I was like, but she said, and and it meant a lot. It did. It meant a lot. And I like that like I said, I'm learning not to clam up into my little shell. Sometimes I have to force myself to answer that phone. And I never regret it when I do. That's the crazy thing. It's not like I get on the phone and I'm like, just shut up. I'm trying to go back to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know what? I needed this. I needed this talk. I needed that. And so, it's something I'm still learning, and I think it's very important, especially after losing the main. Yeah, she was my biggest critic, but my main support was my mother, and so learning this new normal now without her. I honestly, and Corenna, she thought so too. She was like, "Oh, Heidi's gone. That's it. That's it. That's gonna be the final straw. We probably ain't gonna see her again." Not like suicide or nothing, but they're like, nah. And a lot of people, I mean, there's still folks I ain't talked to, but it I didn't fold. Not completely anyways. And I'm learning how important it is to cultivate. That's why, I don't have much to offer, but whatever I have, Corenna has, Kyrie has,
You got
Bella,
plenty to offer.
yeah, all
You a
y'all,
whole vibe, baby.
you know, it's, and everybody has my support 1,000%. I don't care. I'll go buy a book. I'll go, purchase a shirt. Bella, when you come out with your makeup stuff,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, and so it's important to support and, cultivate like a sisterhood. Yeah, it's keeping me going. It's keeping me, knowing I have some support. Yeah, I have some support. A lot of people say, "Oh, she ain't got nobody." No, I got a few folks in my corner. And folks, y'all. So, yeah, it's definitely important to have a strong sisterhood. We
Right.
don't hate on each other
No,
at
we
all.
don't play them games.
We don't argue. There's no, sly little comments trying to
Nope.
put somebody down.
Mm-mm.
Um, Nobody's trying to take advantage of nobody. Like
Mm-mm.
it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful what we have.
It's super organic, but it's real, and the respect is at the highest level. Like I
Yeah.
always tell people, um, what they think matters to me more than anything because like I respect them. I've had some toxic people in my life that I had to cut off a lot. I mean, I've had just almost chop down entire forests of people and get rid of them. And my husband would always say, let this person go, cut that off. And it was hard for me to hear that from him because sometimes, even in relationships, you don't necessarily know if somebody's encouraging you to cut off relationships with other people because then I get to have you all to myself. Then, and my mind is always like, because of how I was raised, it's always like, you're not going to catch me slipping, period. Like, I'm always calculating if you flip tomorrow, what's going to be my next move? You know what I mean? I always got to be a few steps ahead. Like, I don't want to, but when you've been raised a certain way, you always feel like you always have to be like, well, what if this happens tomorrow? God forbid somebody dies or becomes, handicapped. Like, what do I'm always in my mind, right?
Hmm.
And so he's like, you need to just cut certain people off. And I'd be like, I don't know about that, because I wasn't sure if you're telling me to cut people off because, you want me to yourself so that you have full influence and control, or is it because you do necessarily feel like it'd be the best thing to do? But when my girls started saying, you got to cut some people off, it reinforced what he said. And I was like, because I knew, I'm like, y'all have nothing to gain by telling me to cut this person off. He gets all of me. If I don't have nothing else, and it's like, well, I get to have her all of myself. She already don't leave the house. So she's really my prisoner now. You know what I mean? Um, and you guys have
Hmm.
always just been there, just the voice of reason. And I really respect you guys to the highest degree. So there's never no talking about you to this person or saying that. Because even Bella will tell you, I don't talk negative about y'all. Because y'all, I respect y'all to the highest degree. Like, these are my girls. This is my family. I ain't running them down. So I appreciate you
Right.
guys. And like Alicia, I feel like, you are hard on yourself. And I get it because I'm really, really hard on myself. I know Kyrie is and I know Bella is as well. But like, you are so amazing. You're such an awesome mom. And when I say that she cooks from the soul, baby, I cook because I have to. And I don't even do that daily because I'm like, nope, y'all gonna have a ham sandwich and them chips because I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I mentally, I can't do it, right? She loves to cook like when she's at her worst and she's down and out and depressed, getting into the kitchen, it makes her happy. It's like she becomes an artist in that room where it's like Kyrie, she's an artist. She does painting and stuff. And Bella is an artist too with makeup. And she can get in there and get sad and be like, I'm going to go play in makeup. And that makes her feel good. Kyrie the same way. She'll go and design something that makes her feel good. Alicia is like that in the kitchen. I'm going to go cook. And she'll make these like really elaborate and fancy meals and stuff. And her kids just live for the next plate. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks. She loves to cook. And I'm like, if I cooked once a day, I would feel so accomplished. And I don't even do that. I'm like, nah. Like, how old are you guys? I know you got a pizza pocket and go in that air fryer.
Mm,
Because it's not my
we
passion.
have them nights. We have them nights too, but no,
I know
I
you
had
guys
made a
have those
joke.
nights,
I was
but
like, if I drop
98%
dead,
of the time, she's
right?
cooking. I'm talking about, and she cooks from scratch. She's such a good, dedicated mom. And I was worried after your mom left that, you weren't going to be able to function like the way you wanted to, because I know, your mom was tight and like she did a lot for you, but I know your mother would be proud. Like, I'm proud of you, girl. Like, you doing better than I thought you would. Like, I'm just
Oh.
always in awe of how well you are doing. You have kept it together. You've been so amazingly strong and transparent, and you've allowed yourself to be vulnerable and to feel and to lean on others. And you're advocating for yourself. Baby, you just doing it. You know what I'm saying? I just wish I could be there to hug you and give you a big fat
Y'all,
kiss.
y'all getting a little taste of it now.
Yeah, baby. I'm
This is
so
this is the
proud of you.
empowerment we're talking about. I'm feeling
Yes.
cheesy. I'm over here
You that
cheesy.
chick. You that
Right.
chick. Like, I mean, she just encourages me. She's such a good mom. Like, she'll send me, oh, I ordered this for the kids, or I'm doing this. And she knows everything about how they like to eat this or what's that. And she cares. She cares so deeply. You're like, you're supposed to care about your kids. Honey, the way we was raised, you had a roof over your head and the lights was on.
And
You
that
good.
was enough. Yeah.
You good. All this, I need to know emotionally how you feel. Like, she takes her daughter out and they'll have mommy daughter day. And they've been doing that a lot lately. They go to the spa, get the nails done and trying new foods and stuff. And like, she's just so supportive of her children and loving on them. And I just had to speak that on you, you know what I'm saying? And say, I'm so proud of what you've done. I'm so proud of you not hiding in that shell, because you are good for that. You good for that. I will call her for months. I'm like, no. I'm like, somebody better go over there. Somebody better knock on that door, because I'm coming to Tacoma. You're gonna open for me, baby.
I'm
You
trying
know,
to come out of that, but yeah, people.
you're not trying. You've done it. You are doing the work. And I'm really proud of you, and I'm proud of all of y'all, because me and Monica talked about doing a podcast for years, and we was like, I can't do it. I can't do it. Like, we were just like, we knew we wanted to do it, but we just was not ready. And to see where we're at now, baby, she out here making all types of books, and she's just rocketing and flourishing and growing, and she's such an amazing mom. Like, I don't know how she has it in her to do all of it. I'd be like, girl, she's like, she is so like organized, to the point where she's like, okay, at 12:30, me and the kids are gonna watch a movie and we're gonna sit down. And I mean, she got dinner time. I'm like, Pam, you over here making homemade smoothies and creating your own protein powders and her own blends. Like,
Mm-hmm.
y'all's family is just so blessed, to have you guys. You guys are amazing. And I'm like, anything that you think I am, if you think, oh, Corena's awesome, it's because of the people that you see here. Y'all have pumped me up. Y'all have spoken life into me. Y'all have revived me plenty times where I was dying on the operating table. Y'all was there, honey. Y'all see it. Y'all know, and even Bella, there's been times when she called me up and she has cried and been like, Auntie, the way people treat you is not fair.
It's not. She
Not
don't
at all.
deserve none of that mess.
No.
It's like the way you get talked about. She's like, you don't even come to town no more. And she's like,
Yeah, and
Auntie,
it's
I'm
very
proud of you.
unfortunate, being in a situation where it's like you love somebody so much and you constantly see them, not constantly, but you do see when they struggle or when other people, make a struggle for them. You don't want that, you know what I mean? And then you do anything you can to build that person up, or, try to stay connected to them. That's something I've always appreciated about all the ladies in the group. And I'm going to be transparent too, dealing with mental health. A lot of the times it's not even like really anything in life really going on, but just your head itself. You don't feel like talking to people. You don't feel
Right.
like, well, am I good enough to, even hold up a conversation or anything? And then, I get on the phone and I'll just say, hey, how's your day going? And she'll start talking about everything in the world. And then I'm like, okay, well, life is normal. What am I tripping over? You know what I mean? Everything's cool, relax. And, just that simple reminder, me thinking, my whole life is like ruined right now, just to having a simple, 20, 30-minute conversation, we'll end up being on the phone for like 2 or 3 hours,
Right.
just talking about little things. And it makes me feel so normal again that I'm literally like a whole new reset person. And without having these people, I would still be in this mindset of thinking like I'm not good enough, or I shouldn't even, go to work today, or I shouldn't do this. Like, there's been times, Alicia, I've come to that job and I was like, I can't do it. I don't have the energy. I don't have the strength. I don't even have the kindness or the patience in my heart to deal with any of this.
Do it.
And she's told me like, I'll come down here. I'll work with you. I'll help you, and like I said, just that leaning shoulder has always been a great support. So I appreciate all of you ladies.
Oh, we appreciate you too, Bella. And I remember when y'all were working at the funeral home together, Alicia would be like, me and Bella, we just work so good together. Like, she be doing her thing. She be showing me how to do stuff. And so that was like super encouraging. I'm like, I wish I was down there working with y'all too. I don't want to go back, but I get it.
Right. Yeah, that's.
I like working with you guys. Like, we always have fun. Always have a good time.
Side eye.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think like the last time I worked with you guys, well, I don't know if you were there, Bella. You might have been somewhere around there, but like me and Alicia had to go on a call to another funeral home and pick somebody up. But we had to pick up actually 2 people from that funeral home. Yeah. And it's just like we get in the car and we just be rolling. You know what I mean? So you guys are extremely special and important people. And my takeaway from this, and I hope other people take away from it, is how important it is to invest in your relationships with people. Because I'm telling you, mental health wise, there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of mental health that a lot of people don't deal with. And even in my own family, they will lie and be like, there ain't nothing wrong with nobody in this family. I'm like, that's a
Right.
lie. That's a lie. Because I know some stories. I know some people on some medication. I know some people who should be heavily
Right.
medicated. Y'all lying.
Right.
In
And
denial.
there were like stigmas about, mental health, and Kyrie helped me dramatically with that. Because she was like, well, take some St. John's wort. And she was like, well, did you ever think about maybe taking some pills? And I'm like, no, to like deal with like some depression. And I was like, I ain't taking no pills, mind over matter, thinking like that. And so the crazy part is how when it comes to taking a pill, we'll be like, I'm stronger than that. Only weak people take pills. But you don't say that about your blood pressure or about your insulin or about your heart medication that helps to regulate that. You don't tell your heart it's mind over matter. You better beat right. You know what I'm saying? You don't tell your cholesterol to do what it's supposed to be doing because you're strong enough to make your cholesterol behave, right? You take the pill because your body can't do it on its own. I don't know why we do this thing with like mental health, taking medication, to make it seem like, well, if you want to be better, you'll just be better. You don't need a pill. Taking a pill doesn't make you a bad person. So I struggle with that
Especially
for
in
a
the
long
African
time.
American community.
Yeah, in our community, it's really, really bad. Oh, you crazy? You need medication, and so
Yeah, I've been side-eyed for years for
right.
seeking out mental health. I was always told to pray about it, or I need to build my relationship with God and blah blah blah, whatever,
What
whatever.
if
And that's
God tells you to go somewhere and get on a pill?
and I'm like, God created doctors and
Yeah,
God created psychiatrists and stuff. I'm on my own mental health journey, and I'm not ashamed of it.
and I mean, let's talk about the traumas. Like
Weekly therapy
people,
and medication, and I'm doing
yeah,
way better and coming out
right.
that shell and stuff. So it's not always a
It's
negative
not.
thing. I think that's helped pull me through.
I
I
mean,
have my support, and I'm doing
uh-huh,
what I need to be doing instead of sitting at home
right,
punishing myself and just going out my mind, because my thing is violence.
hmm
I get mad and I'm ready to go hurt somebody, and I got kids, and
Right.
so being in jail is just not, that's not where I need to be. And or worse, there's always somebody bigger and badder. I could run up on the wrong one and get killed, that.
right,
So just keeping myself in order, um keeping my head in check, and I'm
right.
not embarrassed to say that. And I get lots of side eyes, and people say stuff in the family, oh, she crazy, she this that. All right.
You know,
Yeah.
what's always so amazing to me is that people love to run their funky fat mouths and they haven't brushed their teeth in weeks and months and haven't flossed in years. You got something to say with your yuck mouth.
Right.
You've never taken into consideration, Bella, you a mess. Bella is so crazy. Haven't taken into consideration the things that have happened that have caused people
Oh,
to get to that
mouth.
point. Yuck mouth. You got the nerve to run your mouth about something. You're not talking about the trauma that people have experienced and have led them to these feelings, and dealing with these things. Like family trauma is real. And so we're gonna look past all that stuff that we know about what has happened. We ain't gonna talk about that, but we're gonna call somebody else crazy. I wish you would. I'll run upon you myself. Let me
Right.
find out. And that's a threat. That's a threat.
It's a
Like,
promise.
oh,
A real promise.
And it really takes conversations like this where we're being vulnerable, we're opening up and we're sharing. And that's why we kind of have to get out of our own way when we share.
Hmm.
Don't be embarrassed, because if you never share, you're never going to find your community.
That's
And
right.
me and Corenna were friends like 10 plus years before we even knew the traumas, the level of trauma that we had really been through.
Wouldn't dare speak of it.
We wouldn't speak on it at all. Like we had no idea. And we called ourselves best friends. We called ourselves, like all this stuff. And it was just like, how have we been friends for this many years? And we had no idea, And so don't be afraid to speak up, and you figure out who's not for you, and you will figure out who's going to show up for you, who's going to be there,
Right.
who can relate to you, who has been through the exact same thing that you've gone
Right.
through, and you guys can help each other work through those traumas together, So have those
Definitely.
conversations.
Definitely. Kyrie was like, girl, get you some St. John wort. That's going to help balance out that mood. And it
Mhm.
did. Everybody can't take it, because it might do something to your heart or whatever, but definitely talk to your doctor. And I'm gonna say something that's weird because I'm kind of getting out there to the reproductive stuff now. But I had an IUD, and it was the non-hormonal one. That's what I've had for years because I know the one with the hormones, it could sometimes mess with people. So I had to recently get mine replaced, and I opted for one with hormones. And I'm talking about I have felt so much better, like with my mood and stuff. And I know that there's like for some people you get depressed, like you're just like you kind of get low, right?
Mhm.
Because of chemical imbalance. So if your body's not producing enough of this, it can make you just drag. It can make it hard to get up. It could just, you know what I'm saying? And so I was taking St. John's Wort, and that helped out a lot. But even just having a hormonal IUD, having those hormones helping to make sure everything stayed balanced. I was like, whoa, wow, my God, I feel like a different person now that my hormones are staying in check. Like, you know what I'm saying? So just that little small change with an IUD, like crazy, because we keep saying that things are about, okay, well, that means that you have an imbalance, right, of hormones and stuff's not being regulated. Maybe you're producing too much or not enough. And then to have something like that made a big difference. So grateful for it, grateful for having conversations with people who make me feel human. During the pandemic, I started having really bad panic attacks. Like it was bad, bad. Like I would go to the store and be like, "Oh my God, I'm gonna pass out." Like I would just freak out. I don't know what it was. As soon as I got to the line, get ready to pay for my groceries, I started having a panic attack, and it was just really scary to feel like you're about to pass out in the middle of the store. And
Right.
I sought out my doctor and was like, "I'm
Mhm.
having panic attacks." And the doctor's like, "Well, how are you sure it's a panic attack?" And I, described everything. Doctor's like, "Yeah, that's a panic attack." And so she gave me something for anxiety, and I took it for like a year until I felt better. But the flack I got, I had members in my own family. Oh, she crazy. She taking medication. I'm taking medication so I don't end up in prison, so I don't have to come and visit you.
Snap.
Okay, and end up catching a
Snap it
charge
up.
because I beat all the
Snap
black
it up.
off your body. Okay, I had to
Right.
beat that off you. I had to beat that spirit out, chap. Okay, so and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, I'm crazy, but I couldn't believe that to laugh at somebody who's struggling to the point where it was like I couldn't leave the house without somebody going with me because I didn't know if I was going to pass out. I don't know if I was going to freak out. Not even wanting to jump on a plane by myself because I'm like, I don't want to hyperventilate and then pass out. You know what I'm saying? Just it's real. We going through some real stuff, and if you're not careful, you'll just push through it and won't actually backtrack and find out why do I feel this way? What does that connect to? Stuff is connected to each other, and if you don't
And
do
can
some
I say, like,
messaging,
also,
mm-hmm.
I'm sorry not to interrupt you, but like
No,
I
go
said,
ahead.
you just bringing that up, like I said, just in our own family, like I said, you being honestly really the pioneer of saying this is acceptable. You can have these issues, and here are ways that you can take care of it. Not every way may not be best for you, but these are the ways that I've dealt with it. Like you even put me on with the St. John's words, and I actually still take it to this day. And so it's like, when you have other people that experience the same things that you do, and they're taking the steps to find that help, that motivates other people like me, and my cousins that, are around our age. But Auntie's doing it, compared to always, being told you need to deal with this by yourself. You don't talk about this with other people. You don't take pills to deal with your issues. You don't
Right.
go see therapists. Like you talk about a therapist over here and they're like, what? Like, you're going to talk to somebody about your problems? And, finally, having somebody in your family that is like, these are okay. And it's okay to have these problems. And this is how you work it out. And these emotions are okay.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, just having those people, like I said, to start off with just learning about themselves in general, help us learn about ourselves. So definitely appreciate
Definitely.
that.
Definitely. And this is why these conversations are so needed. I mean, we wanted to do a podcast and talk about a book, but as you can see, we dive into other things that are not just related to the book, but how we personally are handling life. And I hope that other people, can watch and get something and it speaks to them and to know that there's nothing wrong with you if you need to speak to somebody, if you need to get on some medication, or sometimes also need to just cut off some toxic people because they might be driving you to feeling
Hmm.
like you might be losing your mind. I had people who had me questioning my own sanity, and I realized that I wasn't crazy. They was gaslighting. you know, saying things, and then when you call them out, it's like, well, you're remembering that wrong, or something's wrong with you, and it's like, oh, okay, that's the game we playing now, huh? Ain't nothing in the corner talking. That was you who said that. So, you know,
Right.
we just want to flourish in peace, positivity, and truth. And if you're not on that, you getting cut out. Deuces.
Absolutely.
Anybody else want to have any closing remarks before we ended?
I do want to say thank you guys for inviting me on here. And I definitely appreciate all this time with you ladies, and I definitely enjoyed talking about this chapter with you guys.
Well, thank you
Oh,
very much. We appreciate it. You know, you coming on board, and you know, that's what I've been talking to some other people, and I'm like, hey, we would love to have some other people, you know, join the conversation, and those who are following the book and give their
mhm.
perspective. You know, we have some amazing fans out there who have just been repping the show, you know, sharing links, telling people about it, and so this is what we want to do. We want to have these formats where we can get on here and talk about the book. We can also talk about life, and we can promote other people's businesses because we're growing together. If I win by myself, that's not a win for the team. When the team wins, we all win. So, anyway, thank you all for watching our episode of Rose City, the after show. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on episode 13. Don't forget to tune in next week. We will be diving into episode 14. If you haven't already read it, what are you waiting for? The first 3 episodes are free on Kindle Vella. So there's really no reason not to check this amazing story out. I'm sure you will be hooked just as we are hooked. New episodes are being published every week. We love hearing from our readers, so please add your thoughts, your questions, and theories to the comments, or reach out to us on Rose City, the After Show on Facebook. I'm very active on that, and as well as Curie. All links will be provided in the description. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you again next week in Rose City. Bye.